Doctor.
The redo.
V2. So anyway, had an issue that I didn't push a button, I guess. So just to recap, one of the first episodes of this show, we talked about ghost hunting. Well, you weren't in on that one, but talked about ghost hunting and things that I thought were bullshit and things that I thought were real. But over time, my mind has changed about a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So I thought it'd be cool if we talked about some of those things and what we plan to do going forward to change the way we do it.
Yes, and I wholeheartedly agree, and I'm in the same boat where a lot of my ideas and thoughts about these same subjects have also shifted a bit, and that's what I was saying, was that's what should happen when you are kind of studying and or like researching things. You're either going to gain more, as you gain more understanding, your ideas about what is real and what is bullshit should shift.
The government knows we're about to talk about some real shit because the helicopter's out.
You got a black helicopter circling overhead.
It's probably a news helicopter. But either way, yeah, I mean, I really think, especially in terms of paranormal investigation, you should be applying a different lens as time goes on. You can't just Zach Bagans the thing for as long as you can.
I guess you can if you are Zach Bagans.
Yeah, but is anybody really watching his stuff anymore?
I do. Like, he's got a few...
Non-ironically?
I don't watch him because I think he's going to find ghosts anymore. I watch him because I think they're funny. Like, I think that it's a pretty good comedy series.
I'm in the same boat. I watch him in the same way I watch, like, the internet alpha male stuff.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel better about myself. Yeah. I'm like, no matter how bad things are for me, I could be that loser right there.
So he's got a couple of different shows that he's not really one of the investigators. He just sends teams out to go investigate, and he kind of like consults them on a day-to-day basis. So he's like rarely in the shows.
That's what he was doing like the last 10 seasons of Ghost Adventures.
Oh, was he?
I'm just going to be in the nerve center.
I've only seen the first 16 seasons.
The first 30?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're more tolerable just because he's not in them doing his overacting bullshit. But,
no, that's all real.
I mean, so his ghost element is not in the episodes, but I like them because some of, like, he's got one called Haunted Locations or Destination Hell or some stupid, the title's dumb, but like they just go to cities and explore why they are possibly haunted and then talk to people who have had experiences. So it's kind of more of just a research thing as opposed to doing actual investigations, but interesting shows.
Yeah, I've caught a couple clips of that, and then I've seen like there's like a whole show where he sits down and reacts to his own show.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. I like turned on an episode of it and I'm going, okay, maybe this is something different. It's him watching Ghost Adventures going, oh yeah, then this happened and this happened, and it's kind of like a DVD commentary thing.
Oh, I think I have seen that, but I know they had a show where it was him and Aaron and the other guy. Mm-hmm. And they would talk about, but that was during COVID where they couldn't go out and do investigations, and so they just started reacting to their own show.
Yeah, it's funny, if I go on Hulu and I look at Ghost Adventures, like search it up, there's like 10 different things that pop up.
Yeah.
And you know they all suck.
Yeah.
It is pure comedy though.
Yeah. So I mean, I still watch them, but it's coming from the understanding of it's for entertainment and it's no longer the first show that they ever did was a documentary. Did you ever see that one?
I did.
In that the Washoe Hotel or whatever.
Yeah, the Washoe Club.
Actually pretty. I feel like that was the most real they ever were.
Except for that whole flying brick thing.
Yeah.
That was total horse shit.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. just all of it is too perfect.
Yeah.
The way, like, Zach walks in, and I think it's Aaron has the camera, and it has the one spotlight on it, and the lights weren't that great back then. But instead of looking at Zach or the rest of the room, he's focused right where that brick is.
And it goes flying.
And then it just goes flying. And then I was watching a breakdown where somebody started kind of removing different layers of the video, and you can see there's like a 2x4 or something that falls over, and it happens like that falls, and then the brick goes almost like it's catapulting it. And then the trajectory of the brick, to me, it was a foam brick on fishing line. That's just all I could think of. And the brick doesn't make a sound when it lands.
Yeah, I've never really kind of, I guess now, gone back and analyzed the footage. I just remember watching it 15, 20 years ago whenever it came out.
Yeah, I watched it like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, But I'm looking at it through the lens of after having watched like Nuke's Top 5 and Slapped Ham for so long,
Right.
where your mind is just looking for the engineering points of
Right.
how do you do this and make it look cool. So looking at that going, the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so I don't know, it puts it in the lens of how many of these people who are out there doing ghost investigations but are just making videos for content.
Oh yeah.
Instead of, people who are actually interested in seeing if they can catch anything, which I think is why I'm more drawn to like nukes and stuff where they're not necessarily filming stuff they're not like doing a ghost hunt or whatever. It's just something that's happening in their house and they start filming it, or they're filming for some other reason and all of a sudden something happens. I find that more appealing now. It's
way more interesting to me, and you kind of cut the fat because you watch a lot of these ghost hunting videos like Twin Paranormal, Zach and Cody, Paranormal Files. I finally remembered it, by the way.
That's a generic name.
Yeah, but you watch all these shows, and it's, like you said, it's making content to make content.
Yeah.
It's not about the pursuit of truth or understanding. It's not about actually capturing evidence. It literally is just got to keep cracking out content.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why, kind of going forward, I don't want to try to make 2 ghost videos a month or 2 paranormal investigations a month or whatever. It's too much and it's too watered down. Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's better to concentrate on a smaller number of locations and really put into work.
Yeah.
I think that makes more of an entertaining video to me than just, look at my goosebumps, or there's a demon here, or I'm possessed. The typical bullshit you see in all these.
Right.
And also, a lot of them are just so bad, and they're way too fucking long.
Yeah.
I am not going to delegate 3 hours of my day to sit and watch this terrible video of a paranormal investigation when it's really just them walking around going, bro, did you hear that?
Sometimes I put them on just so I can fall asleep. It's like some background noise, nothing's really happening, and they're talking about paranormal stuff, so I can listen to it as I fall asleep. But yeah, every single thumbnail is like the most terrifying night we've ever.
And their faces are.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I understand now that 95% of these, especially YouTube things, are just like content, needing to put out content.
It's really rare that I see a paranormal channel on YouTube and I'm actually interested in what they're doing. Most of the time it literally is just, all right, let's play fucking ghost hunting trope bingo. Yeah. It's like, okay, goosebumps, got him. Wait, demon, got him. Wait, Ovilus, got him. Just like
ominous growl, bingo.
The audio pareidolia suggested by over-the-screen text of what they think they heard, got him.
Yeah. That's kind of in my notes that I wrote down of things to consider. And we'll kind of go over that.
Yeah, let's go through some of the ghost hunting tech and devices first. We'll just do a few of them real quick, because that was like, that episode was mostly about that. So we'll just do some of the popular ones. Has your perception on an EMF detector changed?
No. I'm trying to understand it, like, using one, you can see how easily it is manipulated by different, measurements inside of a place. Like, you can pick up the wires and the wiring of the house and the different spots that might have stronger EMF just because of outlets and devices and whatever. But I do believe that if spirits are energy, then you might be able to read something by using one of those. Whether that's true or not, I'm yet to test a spirit with it. So
I still think they're pretty solid. Kara had posed a great question. Do you know that actually like detects ghosts? And you're like, well, we don't know that it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so learning more about E field and H field and things like that, it's definitely, there's a concept there to be proven. It is one of those devices that's kind of just arbitrarily assigned to ghost hunting, even though it was designed for electricians.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere was just like, hey, I wonder if this thing will pick up a ghost.
Yeah.
It reads random numbers, it looks cool. But the basis I go off of with that is, if a ghost or spirit can interact with physical objects on this plane of existence, it has to have some kind of energy signature.
Exactly.
Shit doesn't just move on its own. Whether it's a static field, an electrical field, a radiation field, whatever it is, it has to be measurable in some way.
Right.
So it's more about proving that this device can capture some kind of anomaly.
Correct.
It's not saying like, beep, 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 ghost.
Ghost.
It's saying, beep, 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 there's an electrical field here.
Electric field here. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's investigate. Also, high EMF fields in regular, normal reality can make you feel certain ways. So if there's a high EMF field in one room and you sit in that room all the time, you can start to feel dizzy, you can start to feel nauseous, you can even start hallucinating.
Yeah.
And it's just the electromagnetic field inside the room that you're in. So, is it paranormal? Is there just bad wiring that's making you feel these ways, and you're not possessed by a demon, you just have shitty wiring in your house?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that much EMF manipulation, it messes with the synapses in your brain.
Yeah.
Because that is literally electrical signals firing in your brain.
Right.
So if you're putting enough of a disturbance in that field that you're physically in, it will cause you different issues.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, even those crowd control devices that emit microwaves,
Yeah.
same thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, still down with EMFs.
So I believe that they're a useful tool in kind of pinpointing areas that might need further investigation, instead of just like pointing a stick through the fucking air and being like, ghost.
Yeah.
Same thing, but you're actually taking a reading and being, okay, what is this spot right here that's different from everywhere else in this whole house? What is going on right in this spot?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah.
It's kind of like when you said wave a stick around and ghost, I thought about that scene from Ghostbusters where Venkman goes into Dana's apartment and he has like the squeegee suction thing and he's just like measuring. And still to this day, I'm like, what is he even doing? What is that tool?
I think it was just some bullshit he was doing.
Yeah. So what about, I was going to ask about Ouija boards, but we haven't tested that. And we have talked about that extensively enough that we can just skip over it. What about the spirit box?
Same thing. I believe that probably 90% of the stuff that you see online or on videos that are doing these things is just random fucking noise that they're picking up and then making shit up in their own heads that correlates to the questions that they're asking. And then, but I do believe, I mean, in my mind, it seems like it could be possible that you're giving them an energy source to manipulate to be able to communicate. So, I mean, kind of on the fence about that one, more so than I was before. Just with the possibility of, if they're able to manipulate objects or things around, why wouldn't they be able to manipulate this box to make their voices heard or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a pretty heavy skeptic on the, because it's just scanning through radio waves. That's all it's doing. But I think I was a skeptic because of the way it's portrayed on TV, where it's like, oh, did you hear that? It said devil. Like, no, it went.
Yeah.
But in the experiences we've had, especially at Merker, where we're doing the A.C.E.S method, and I've got the thing on and you're asking the questions, and I know I couldn't hear you. I could feel like the vibration of your voice, but I couldn't tell what you were saying. And watching that video back, there's direct call and response.
Right.
And to me, that was so undeniable. It just changed my mentality just watching that clip, going, okay, there's something real here. We just don't know how to measure it or equivocate it in some way that makes sense in my mind. Mm-hmm. It's real, I just don't know what it is. Yet. That's the pursuit. What about dowsing rods?
Yeah, I don't understand how they are supposed to work in the first place. And so, I mean, they're copper conducts electricity. Are they twisting because the electrical energy around you is changing? Or is it like a magnetic thing where you're, negative and positive, so it's going to kind of read like that? I don't really understand it. So, like, it being such a archaic thing that they've used for centuries to even do like water, finding water and shit like that. I don't know. I don't know about them. And I've used those before over at the mill over here. To me, it seems really hard not to accidentally move them one way or the other, just because your hands are always moving. And so to try to keep your hands as still as possible and not move them involuntarily is a super hard thing. So it's really highly susceptible to getting false positives or false negatives, to me.
I agree, and I'm on the fence about it. Like, does it work? Does it not? There's zero empirical evidence to suggest that dowsing rods can actually find water, which is crazy to me because of the amount of accuracy so many people over time have had.
Yeah.
I knew an old farmer one time. He could do it. He'd literally walk out with them and, yep, there's something down there, even if it's just like a pocket. But as for ghost hunting, paranormal investigation, I think it's just I think it's a tool we need to take the human element out of, because like you said, how much of it is you accidentally moving, how much of it is your micro movement, where you'll ask a question and you instinctively want it to say yes or no, and you're just you're not doing it intentionally.
It's the demon I'm talking to. It is.
Oh shit. Well, you have involuntary movements predicated on thought.
Yeah.
And you can prove it. You could take like a pendulum of whatever kind, take a string and tie a washer to the end of it, hold it up as still as you can, and think about it moving side to side. It'll start doing it on its own. Your body is doing that.
Yeah.
It's taking your thought and creating a motion for it.
Yeah.
You're just doing it involuntary. So that's where I'm like...
Same thing with the Ouija board.
Yeah, 100%. Where that one's different. You can't take the human element out of it, but if you put enough people in who I think are skeptical, and if you have a result, you're more likely to say, okay, there's something there.
Well, that was one of the things that they did with the Ouija board, in trying to prove if it's real or not, was they had the person so they couldn't hear, and so they were blindfolded, couldn't hear, and they were holding the planchette, and then somebody else would ask the questions, and then they didn't get any responses at all. And then they took the blindfold off, let them hear, and then they started asking questions. All of a sudden, it started answering the questions.
Yeah.
Because the person that's hearing it, even if it's subconsciously or without their knowledge, they're thinking about the answer, and so it starts answering the questions without them really even knowing that they're doing it. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't remember the word for it, but it's automatic something or other.
Yeah.
But with dowsing rods, I think one thing, in the whole going forward aspect, I still want to use them, but I think it's better that I make a little jig to hold them.
Yeah.
And then I can level them and everything. Like, I have a leveling app on my phone, which is pretty cool, because your phone has a potentiometer to be able to do that.
Right.
So putting them on a stationary jig, taking the human element completely out of it, if you get a response with that, different story.
Yeah.
But you also need to foolproof it. If you're going to put a camera on these dowsing rods that are being held by clips or whatever, you need to put that anemometer right there in the screen too, so you see there's no wind movement.
Right.
Or if there is wind movement suddenly out of nowhere, it's kind of weird, but
yeah.
It's debunking yourself before you can even make a false thing happen.
Yeah, doing an actual investigation as opposed to just going out there and getting freaked out because the wind blew your fucking rods one way or the other.
Yeah. Well,
I like the feeling of wind blowing on my rods, but I'm not going to freak out and call it a demon.
How often are you outside that the wind is blowing on your rod?
No, I don't want to say. I've got neighbors out here.
You're just out here checking on the vegetables.
Yeah. See how my eggplants are doing out here.
You're like, yep, appropriately sized.
Dude, we've got some cucumbers that are like this big around.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, I can't even find a jar to pickle those fucking things. One big ass fucking pickle inside of a jar. Is that a turd?
That's Mother Nature's turd, and it's delicious.
Delicious water turd.
Yeah, I think even with the dowsing rods, because they're copper, and your body does put off electrical signals, I should say, that I think even that's manipulating it in some way or another.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you hold them and have zero results. I've seen Scott hold them and they'll move all over the place. And I move them and I'm kind of in the middle. But I also kind of want that response.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a subconscious manipulation. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah. I definitely think that it being such a fringe science type thing, and paranormal science, or it's a pseudoscience, if you want to call it that. Anything is up for grabs, and using it as a tool to kind of prove or none of it has been proven or disproved to be real or fake. So
exactly, it's like I said, people in that field have just taken things arbitrarily and assigned them to ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Or manufactured new things that have no provability. Like, I'm sorry, the Ovilus is the biggest piece of shit in ghost hunting, but somebody just came up with that, was like, here, I'm gonna come up with this thing that has all these pre-dictated words in it, and it's just gonna spout them off whenever. That's horseshit.
Yeah.
There's no science in that.
Yeah, and one thing you have to remember in these videos that are online or whatever, put on TV, especially the ones that are on TV, I think that the ones on YouTube might be a little less scripted. Probably. Because they don't have the production cost of the TV show that they're making it for, and so they don't have to have a story arc or whatever. If they catch stuff, they catch stuff. Now, most of them are fake because they just make up shit.
Yeah.
But how long are they actually sitting there talking to the Obulus and getting wrong answers and getting, random ass words that have nothing to do with it? If they're there for 5 hours and they're doing the Obulus for 3 of those hours, they get one time where it says something that corresponds with a question that was asked 15 minutes ago, but they splice it together to look like it was a response, a call and response. So,
well, and I think I have the exact same problem with phone apps for ghost hunting. Is that these apps and the Obulus are designed specifically for ghost hunting or paranormal investigation. So why would the developers of either that device or those apps kind of predetermine what words go in there?
Yeah.
And you can say an Obulus has
haunted,
devil, haunted, death, murder. Like, you're never going to be like, how did you die? And you're going to hear chocolate. Like, how did you die? Gubernatorial. Like, that's just not how it really works, because they definitely kind of tip the scales in their favor when they make this shit to try to sell it to people and, get the response they want. Like, oh, dude, I got this Obulus from XYZ.com. I'm going to go buy their K2 meter too. I'm going to go buy their REM pod too. Yeah. I'm going to buy all their shit because of this. This was cool. And it's like, no, that's horse shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of REM pods, what's your take on that?
I like the motion activated stuff just because it might alert your attention to something that you are not aware of happening off to the side, like REM pod, as in a motion detector. I do like it for that reason. So they're supposed to almost you're kind of boosting the energy output in the room.
So with the REM pod, it's basically putting out a small EMF field.
Right.
And then when that field is broken by something that has an electrical impulse, it sets off the alarm.
Yeah.
Which is why you don't even have to touch it. You just get close.
So in that aspect, I do, in the same vein of energy manipulation, I do think that there is something that could possibly happen with one of those things, especially if it's sitting there for a couple hours and then all of a sudden it just goes off for no ass reason. Like, could there be something there? Possibly. And that's, again, it's like one of those things, that's not saying, oh shit, it's a ghost. It's like, okay, that just went off, let's go over there and see if we can see if there's anything going on over there. Why did it go off? Let's get the EMF detector out here, see if there's, get a baseline first and then see if there's a difference in that area, and then see if you can track down what that is, what that caused it. That's where the investigation part of it should come into it, instead of just calling it a ghost and having goosebumps because it just went off. Like,
yeah. See, I'm in agreement, because you double down on it. For one, it is very science-based. It is putting off this electromagnetic field that requires electromagnetism to set it off. Mm-hmm. But you also do get that creep factor, like at Merker, where we're over here by the grave sites doing this other thing, and you'll hear one that we set way off in the distance suddenly go off. Ooh, we got something.
Yeah.
What was that? And then, you run over there and come face to face with a skinwalker or something. So,
like, I knew you were wearing that fucking hat. Why would you dare wear a skinwalker hat?
Didn't I tell you, refer to us as SK, okay? SK.
SWs.
Or sorry, yeah, SWs. Yeah, I listened to another podcast where somebody called them SWs, then that one kid called them SKs, and I'm just like, just fucking say it. Yeah. Skinwalker.
Are you talking about skinwalkers?
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Say skinwalker out here in the...
Damn, can't say that? I had no idea.
Just saved me, buddy. Thanks.
Or I just painted a target on your back. We're leaving, by the way. Enjoy.
I think that REM pods are a definite thing that you should probably have in your kit. And again, it's not a sure sign of ghostly activity, but it could alert to something going on. And that's a big problem that I have, is when people use one device and then all of a sudden something happens with the device and it's automatically a ghost or a demon, or it's spirit activity. It is intriguing when they find something that's going on and then it stops, and then they'll ask a question and then they'll start doing it again, and then kind of a call and response thing by using a device. I think that's the right steps to try to figure out what's going on, and to try to take it a step further into like bringing out another device that's kind of operating in a similar manner, and say, if you can manipulate this, you should be able to manipulate this one, see if you can make this one change. And then if you're having similar results, then possibly there's something more to look into.
I agree. The only problem I have with REM pods is, well, two problems. One, exactly what you just said. It's not proof of anything. It's only an alert to tell you there's something else to investigate.
Yeah.
The other part I have is why companies feel the need to sell them for $200 when you can make it for $25.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally, you can go online to Amazon and buy a Junior Theremin kit for like $13 with a little bit of soldering, add an antenna to it, boom, REM pod. Easy money. Like the ones that we have, they're literally just motion sensors for doorknobs. Like you're supposed to hang it on a doorknob, and when the door opens, it goes off. But I just took off the hook thing and added an antenna, because the antenna is a transceiver for electrical energy.
Yeah.
So it literally does the exact same thing. They just have a Junior Theremin in them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have like, a cool casing or, lights on it or a name brand. It doesn't say REM pod on the side. So
we can put, I've got a, printer that can print out us some fucking things that says REM pod on it.
We'll just write it on there with magic marker.
$100, dude.
$100, bro.
$100.
That is something I have actually really considered, was building these little ghost hunting kits, like making them and building them and then selling them for way less than what you would buy online.
Yeah.
But still making a profit, because if I can make one REM pod for $5 and you sell it for $10, you still get a markup. But people are going to be like, oh, I can afford that. I can't afford $200 for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some that were like the GeoPort or the GeoBox, similar to a Spirit box, but it's the one that you built, actually, that like kind of filters out the noise. And they were selling for like $2,000.
Oh my God, dude. Full disclosure, some of the stuff that I got for that, I got it on like Temu, or I got it from my mom's work, so I got a good discount on it. But that whole kit, the most expensive part was the speaker. And the speaker was only like $30.
Yeah.
So I think total I spent maybe $60 on that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, sure, their package looks a little bit cooler, but I got a 3D printer. I can make mine look even cooler than yours.
Yeah.
And I can still do it for way less. So I just hate the highway robbery of ghost hunting tech and equipment. I just don't understand why a Ouija board from ghosthunters.com or whatever will cost you $70 because it has their name on it. Or you could go to wish.com and order the same one without a name on it for $7.
Yeah. Or go to Five Below and get one for...
So what's funny is I bought that one, and then like literally I got home that day and I had a package on the porch, and it was one that I ordered from Temu. So now we have two.
Yeah.
Still, together was only about $12 for the pair of them.
Yeah. Maybe that might be an interesting thing is as we go through this whole ghost hunting exercise that we're doing, even making videos on how to put these things together, cheaply. And
Yeah.
for people that want to try to do it themselves, and or like putting together a kit, on a video, and then explaining how you did it, what you did, and then an option to buy that kit. Like, if you want to buy this, I'll sell it for $50 instead of $700 on ghost.com or whatever it is.
Yeah. I like that idea though of just build it on camera.
Yeah.
And add your parts list, do all that, and just show people like, hey, you don't have to go get robbed by these people. You can do this at home.
Yeah.
You need a soldering iron with some solder, and here's your parts list. You can literally do this at your kitchen table.
Yeah. You can get a soldering iron from Harbor Freight for like $10.
Yeah.
And solder is like $3.
A roll, and it lasts you a while. Now, if you want to get,
I had to solder some wires on my guitar.
yeah, and if you want to get technical, learn how to use flux and whatever, it's still fucking cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had talked about the idea of doing like the testing videos where we explain the science or the mysticism between different devices for ghost hunting and actually test them in a controlled manner. But I really like that idea of, let me show you how to build this.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking write that down. Not right now, but later.
Yeah, that kind of gets into my whole thing that, so we like talked about it and talked about a rebranding of our ghost hunting team.
A revamp.
A grand reopening.
See, I like revamp because vampire,
Yeah.
paranormal.
Yeah, it is very paranormal. And so we kind of like talked about like going through and looking at a bunch of ghost hunting shows and channels and see what we like and what we don't like about what they do and how they do it. I didn't really do that because I already know what I do and don't like about
I did it.
certain things. The biggest one was I just hate the overacting of, and false narratives that people try to get out there just for clicks. So my favorite ghost hunting show is actually still Ghost Hunters, TAPS, the team
TAPS.
I think that those guys were probably the most honest with what they found and how they kind of conducted their investigations. They weren't really trying to sell shit, it didn't seem like. And so I came up with this thing called the PGP.
PGP.
Yeah. Potential Ghost Protocol.
I'm digging it.
So, if we go to a place and we find some kind of evidence, there's a certain protocol that we follow to kind of further investigate the whatever it is that we're looking at. So in one of the episodes of TAPS, this is kind of where it stemmed from, was they were walking up, Grant and Jason, the two main guys, walked up the stairs and they saw something. And they kind of both turned and looked at each other and said, "Don't say anything." And then they left. They went outside. And then one guy went with one cameraman, the other guy went with the other cameraman, and they said what they saw individually. And so one guy said that he saw a woman dressed in a dress and a bonnet and stuff. The other guy said the same thing. So it wasn't like they were telling each other what they were saying like on camera, but they separated and said had the same story, so it was a lot more credible. So I think that, if anything like that ever happens, we have to do the same thing. Even like carry notebooks to kind of jot down sounds that we hear at certain times, or if we're doing an EVP session, do the session and then listen to it individually, and then we can write down what we think we hear.
Ooh, I like
As
that.
opposed to like, did you say, he just said demon, and be like, yeah, it did say demon, didn't it?
No, it sounded like you said cum shot. I don't know where you got demon from.
Right. So I think it would be more interesting to see if we're getting the same results by listening to it independently, as opposed to like corrupting each other's memories
Yeah.
of something that's happened.
You're not creating implicit bias with each other.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
I did not even take that into account. That's going in my notes. This dog is just inconsiderate. Doesn't he know we're doing a podcast?
I think Fish is driving him crazy. Look at Fish.
Fish is just straight chilling, dude.
Yeah. He's having the time of his life. He's fucking balls to the air.
Dude, he's perennial sunning.
Good job, Fish. Stay healthy, buddy.
You know what? I'm gonna take a picture of that so I can just throw that in the video so people know exactly what we're talking about. So one thing I thought of that goes right in line with that is it's not just about, you know, the going ghost hunting and the proof and the science and all that. It's because we film these things and we're trying to make a video out of it. It's how do you make a video where you found nothing entertaining enough to watch? Mm-hmm. And so I thought about it in terms of how a lot of these ghost hunters do, and then I thought about how does the Y-Files do it, because that's a go-to for everybody. You know, I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like the Y-Files. If you don't, you're a piece of shit.
And most people that don't like the Y-Files just haven't watched it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
So I thought about it would be interesting to, you know, you do the investigation part, you record the whole thing, right? And then when I go to edit the video, whatever we have happen in the moment is what goes into that segment of the investigation. But anything we have, like those individual, like I'm going to go over here and tell the camera what I saw, and you're going to go over there and tell the camera what you saw, or when we debunk those things, I'm going to leave it out of the section of the video that's just the investigation. And then after the whole thing's done and over with, and I have time to go through it, we'll sit down and I'll show you the clips and we'll react to them and debunk our own shit. And then we'll also add back in those clips where it's like, take for example, at the mill, when you had that little wood spur that you rubbed up against and it made that sound. For the investigation, you can edit it down to like the scary part, like, what the hell was that? And kind of look around and then cut and go to the next thing. But then when you come back around to the like debunking follow-up part, we can go, yeah, so this happened, play that clip again, but here's what it really was, and then play the clip of us figuring it out what it was.
Yeah.
So you still kind of get that scary, intense stuff, but you get the Y-Files misdirection at the end of, all right, yeah, that was cool, but it was total bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And that's one of the things. It's like the first like section of the Y-Files is like totally telling the story as he's full-on believer of whatever's happening, and then he kind of goes back through it. And yeah, I like that, of putting that into the context of doing an investigation, so that you're having that build-up of anticipation, and then you get the reveal, the Scooby-Doo of like...
The Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Oh, man, I'm going to start calling it that. Oh, shit, it was Old Man Withers the whole fucking time. Yeah, I really thought that would be cool and interesting, because if you're watching a ghost video for the spooky factor, for the scares, you can still get it. But even though we found nothing, we still went in and debunked it. So we get both ends of it. You get the scary, spooky, you get the science and no bullshit.
Yeah.
In the same video. But I also think it'd be cool too, like, because I'll have all the footage and I go through it, I get to surprise you with some other stuff.
Yeah.
I could say, okay, now this happened where we didn't notice, you know, but now you get to see it for the first time and react to it live, which I think is going to be so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So here in some of my notes, so I talked about maybe carrying a pad of paper and a pen on our investigations. You can write down anything that you hear, if you hear something, but also how you're feeling in certain times, like both physically and mentally, because, you know, if these entities can manipulate your energy fields, you might feel drained, you might feel physically drained, You might feel like nauseous or sick, or even emotionally, if you're feeling angry, or if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling certain sadness, or elation, or whatever it is that you're feeling, to document those in the moment so that you don't forget about it later on.
And I really like that aspect, because there have been times we've gone out and, let's be real, there's a big fat chunk of doing these investigations that's boring.
Yeah.
But every once in a while you'll kind of move into a different space, and then suddenly you're just overwrought with emotions.
Yeah.
Whether it is fear or anxiety or dread or whatever. And it just hits you just all of a sudden. And I've experienced it enough times to know that it's a real ass thing.
Yeah.
And it's not driven by, oh, I'm out here in the dark, or I'm looking for ghosts. Like, I've been looking for ghosts for fucking hours. But you just, like, you'll walk into a random room or whatever, and it just suddenly washes over you. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So it would be good to throw things like that in.
So in line with that, I think it would be a good thing to, like, keep a running time log of when you're doing an investigation.
100%.
You'll have a written time log of what is going on, and even announcing it as, this is September 17th, 12:30 in the afternoon. We're here at, state the location, just so that you know what is happening and what time, just so you can see the events that are leading up to it, and kind of build almost you're building a case of what's going on. And that's where I was looking into it. It should be almost like a criminal investigation type thing, where you're taking note of all the things that you're experiencing throughout the night, including temperature and barometric pressure, because that can also have an effect.
On instrumentation, for sure.
So I was looking at buying a barometer that'll read like high and low pressures, air pressure. Also, weather has a factor in most paranormal stories. So, like, almost every paranormal story starts out with on a dark and stormy night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, could that be a factor? We might be able to document that it is really a factor. Like, electrical storm is happening a couple miles away. That increase in electrical energy in the air might amplify the energy with which spirits might be able to manipulate things.
100%. I mean, it's a factor that needs to take into account, because of how much it can change just your tooling. It can just change your emotions or your feeling, or what you're feeling. Because there are people, they get sad when it rains.
Yeah.
Or like Men in Black 2, it rains because you're sad.
I love the rain.
I do too.
I love it.
But it changes your emotional state.
Yeah.
Especially when you're outside and trying to get your equipment inside and you're soaking wet and all your shit's getting poured on and you're like, fuck. But, just being outside in the rain is actually quite nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good thing to take into account. I think weather in general, especially too if it's like really hot, let's say you're inside the Benson grist mill and it's really hot, you are going to get amplified EMF and RF signal. Like, if you take an RF detector into an attic in July in Utah, it's going to go bananas. It's a dry, arid desert. You're upstairs in an enclosed space. It's really hot. Plus you have all that insulation. It puts off heavy RF signal. So you're going to get a false positive when it's too hot as well.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to think about, but I'm glad we're thinking about it.
Yeah. Can it be, some of the tricks that people are using in these ghost videos? There's a lot of activity upstairs. Go up there with the EMF detector and you're going to get high readings.
No shit.
Really?
That is the timestamp thing is super important to me. Like these cameras, the GoPros, all that stuff, putting the time date stamp on them, try to get them as close as they can within, a few seconds of each other. So for one, it makes editing super easy.
Yeah.
But the other part is that you actually have a timeline. If you're in building A investigating and I'm in building B and something happens in both buildings at the same time, we react separately, but it's the same time, I think that thing, time stamping is super important. Yeah. Let's talk about some of our pros and cons of different ghost videos. I did a lot. Well, I would just like watch one episode of each show I could find, and I kind of made like a tropes list. Let me see if, oh yeah, underused and unused tropes. So an unused trope that I think of was using the gadgets and the tooling to create the tension. Because you know how it is, like when you have the puck light way far away from you and it just goes off.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit. Instead of just relying on people's poorly acted responses to nothing.
Right.
Like, I'm possessed by a demon. Versus, you know, doing like a spirit box session and the REM pod goes off over there. Oh, what? Because it scares the shit out of you.
Yeah.
It's loud as fuck. It's too far away from you for anybody to do it. It's interesting. Using science to explain why things are different or paranormal happenings never seems to happen in a ghost show, ever.
Everything's a demon.
Everything's a demon or a ghost or, you know, a child that drowned in a well. It's always ridiculous. One thing I do like that I've picked up from very few shows is setting good intentions when they go into these places. And that was one thing I picked up from Cindy Kaza was before you do it, have the correct intention. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to gain? Are you actually trying to help a spirit, or are you trying to just go in and make shitty content?
Yeah.
And so I think that alone, even if you are just going in for content, setting the intention correctly, you're going to get better content out of it, and you're going to be more mindful of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to go in there and be like, oh my God, there's an SK out here.
Yeah. Well, having a plan and a mission, I think helps drive that plan of like, what do we do in this situation? As opposed to like, I mean, we're new at this shit. You know, we've gone out 5 times now, 4 times. And so it's kind of a, you know, a learning curve, but you know, with anything that you do, it does help if you have a plan of what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and then how are you going to react in these certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having that emergency preparedness plan or ghost protocol, potential ghost protocol.
Mission Impossible 4.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, maybe that's 5. I can't remember.
What you're going to do and how you're going to react. Just like in the whole like training stuff that we talked about, having that mental plan of what you're going to do on these days that you don't want to do it, but what you're going to do in the case of like you get this high adrenaline spike because something just happened, or you just saw something that you are fairly certain that you saw that is paranormal, instead of like freaking out and yelling about it and running around and overacting on camera for content's sake, but like staying calm, writing down your thoughts, getting everything straight first, and then after that you can freak out about it.
Yeah. Well, I think even if you're able to do that, you're not going to freak out anymore. You took care of it, you handled it, and you did it in a meaningful way that's going to make you go, okay, I got through that, what is next?
Yeah.
Let's see what else happens. Like, I'm already spooked, but I was still calm enough to get my notebook out and write my timestamp and write down what I was thinking, and then, all right, that's done. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Having a plan is definitely number one in my opinion, because every time we've gone out, we kind of willy-nilly it. Like, we're very vague on, yeah, we'll try to get establishing shots or drone footage while it's still light, and then we just kind of jump right into the rest. But I think the plan that I have kind of gotten in my mind is very similar to the Holzer files, where we go in and take actual measurements of everything. You know, let's say, for example, we're on the base floor of the mill. We'll go in during the daytime before any paranormal things are agitated or stirred up, and do sweeping patterns with different tools, create an average of what things should be, find hot spots and wiring, things like that. Basically kind of create a map of what the tooling says during the daytime, before anything else changes, before any kind of medium comes in or any tooling, that's more mystical in nature comes in. Get actual measurements using science.
Yeah.
And create that baseline beforehand, because if, let's say we're in that same room and we already did a measurement and, okay, we got 0.1 milligauss all the way around the room on average, but you're sitting on the bench doing a spirit box. While you're doing that, I can measure the rest of the room doing that same sweeping pattern. And okay, now we're up to 3 milligauss. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
So you have an actual basis of what's normal versus what you're getting when things are being stirred up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, having that plan of attack, I think makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And it makes, again, the editing way easier, because the way I see it is, do your intro, your B-roll stuff, the history, if there's any interviews, and then you move into baselines. So if you're going to a place like the mill where you're going to target, let's say 4 or 5 of those buildings, go in and get your baselines for all those buildings in the daytime. And then again, while the activity's happening, measure it again, see if there's a difference. That's the only way you're going to know.
Yeah. Also, I think that it's, in doing like interviews and stuff like that, I think that it's, in my mind, it might be better to have one person do that.
100%.
And then so everybody else is kind of kept in the dark about what the past scenarios have been in a location.
Not being front loaded.
Yeah.
And I thought that same thing, because like I was saying, on the back end of things, where I've got the editing thing where it's just up to me and I get to show you stuff that you may have not seen or experienced during the investigation. So I get to show you and you get a fresh look at it. But it should be the opposite with the history or the interviews. Like, that could be up to you.
Okay.
Because I would rather find the places, and I don't want to know anything about it, especially because I'm more like based in the science of it rather than the history or the mysticism, where it could be a completely different factor for me going through the experience. Let's say I hear a name on the spirit box, but then later on I find out, like, holy shit, that's this, where you're doing the history, that's the same name I heard.
Yeah.
So it'd kind of be cool on both sides of that.
So that's what I wrote that down also, was like maybe even doing interviews and stuff like that, getting the history after the fact that we've already done the investigation.
Ooh.
Just to get a different verification of, stuff that is similarly happening to different people. So like going in blind to these things, so you're not front loaded and you're not like projecting these things that you think you're going to hear or you should be looking for. So your mind is completely open to the experience of whatever's going to happen, instead of being anticipating Sally's name coming over the spirit box. Or
yeah. Or, looking for the woman in the white dress,
right.
Which it's always a woman in a white dress,
right.
or the Confederate soldier, or whatever it is that inhabits that place. You're not looking for it. But if you see it and then later on go through the history of the interview, now that you say do it at the end, I actually like that way better, because then you could come to me with that while we're doing the review.
Yeah.
And show me that aspect. So I dig it.
Yeah.
We're really working through some shit here.
Yeah.
The hard part for me is trying to juggle all the different aspects, because everything has an equal and an opposite, where ghost hunting in and of itself is fringe and silly. So how do you make it serious and scientific? Or balancing the fact that most of the time you do these things, you find literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you balance that with making it entertaining?
Yeah.
Or how do you balance like the making it a watchable video versus making something cringe?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that also, and even just finding places to go and try to investigate. But I did find out that the Sally house, It's only $250 a night.
Isn't that in
But it's in Kansas.
in Atchison, Kansas?
Yeah.
Did you watch that video I sent you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so bad, dude. Like, what was the guy's name?
Steve.
Holy shit. I would lose my fucking mind if we went to a place and had to deal with him.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to watch the actual episode of the Paranormal Files just to watch his whole thing.
But it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah, just because that guy is fucking nuts, and I kind of like that.
I love...
So it might be even more entertaining just to do a whole video on that guy. Like,
I honestly, I kind of would. Like, that's one that, before we go in, I'm going to need a few shots, because totally dead sober, I would lose my shit on this guy.
shut the fuck up.
Shut all the way the fuck up. Yeah, I don't... Look, can you leave your own house for a little bit? Yeah, holy shit. If I was a little bit liquored up, I'd be like, let's hear it, Steve. What do you got?
And then what happened?
Hold on, let me turn up these spooky sounds. God, that's so bad. I'd be down.
Yeah.
Atchison is it's not too far away from the airport. So, you know, fucking get a hotel room, rent a car, go out for a day or two. I did find one nearby that we can do fairly cheap. The John Browning mansion.
Is that up in the Avenues?
It's in Ogden, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've been making connections on social media with different like paranormal groups and things like that.
Smart.
Yeah. Thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, instead of trying to just film as many episodes as you can to try to make content, let's focus on, let's say, 8 episodes, you know, like we talked about, make one season out of it that you can drop every week through September and October when people are wanting to watch stuff like that. And then it's not a huge burden, because between prepping and going out there and editing and the time it's going to take us to actually get all the content created, like it's going to be basically, you know, 2 or 3 weeks per video to get it done,
Right.
pre to post production. So why burden ourselves with trying to do too much?
Yeah.
So instead of getting a bunch of lower quality videos, let's make a smaller quantity of higher quality videos. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Because you see, you know, Paranormal Files or Zach and Cody, or even those 2 TikTok gals, like they just put out video after video after video, and they all suck. No offense to them, but their content sucks.
Yeah.
So I would much rather make something worth watching. Because if you're scrolling and you see Paranormal Files has an hour-and-a-half video, which they don't, they're all really long, versus this other channel has a video that's an hour-and-a-half long, but you know Paranormal Files is kind of twingy, cringy,
Yeah.
then you're going to try something else. So make it worth the choice.
Okay. So I did, you know, my notes are almost exactly the things that you're bringing up. Interview people on location, do it after the fact, go in as blindly as possible, do an initial sweep of the location, taking notes on entrances, exits, windows, just so that we know that we're, you know, again, plan of, you know, emergency plan, like if something happens, you should probably know where the doors are. Or, you know, you know where people can enter and exit that, you know, might be fucking with you.
That's a big one.
Also look for signs of animal activity, just like we had at the mill. Like, probably half of the shit that we heard was probably the owl fucking
Taking shits
upstairs. Debunk as much as possible, so like on-site debunking as much as we can. Possibly try to do experiments with sound, both with like different types of music and or binaural beats, and just like sound frequencies to amplify the space. Describe on video how the device actually works and what you're testing for. So you're describing it both to whoever might be watching it, but also you're describing it to a potential spirit that you're interacting with. So you say, oh, this is an EVP. They don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know what the recorder is, especially if they've been dead for 100 years, whatever. They're not going to know what a recording device is. So if you say, this is a recording device, what? So you can make clips even inside the video of like, okay, this is the EVP, this is a recording device that's going to potentially pick up your voice, and we'll be able to hear you with it, so that you can make clips inside of the video that you're making, timestamp it so you can easily just go back to it and like pull that clip out for social media or shorts, or to have a short of like, this is a REM pod, this is how it works, we're going to set it here, do a short session, see if we get any responses, and you can just make a short out of that.
Yeah. And I think that would actually kind of help credibility of paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
Like, we're not just saying, oh, this detects ghosts.
Right.
Like, no, this has actual science behind it.
Let's see.
Oh, I threw in use of actual parapsychology. So I've barely been dipping my toe into understanding what parapsychology even is. But what little bit I understand, there is a sense of being able to ask the correct questions to whatever may be out there, ghost or spirit or otherwise, to get a correct response. Because if you just say, is anybody there? What's your name? How did you die? Like, the very simple questions that if you're front loaded, you're going to already be predisposed to answer.
Right.
Versus if you say, what was your daughter's name? Or what was your cousin's name? What did you like to do when you were little, or whatever? What was your job?
Who's the president?
Who's the president? And that's definitely took that out of the Hans Holzer book.
Yeah, I like that.
Use of good cinematography. Because a lot of these ghost shows you watch, there's a whole lot of just looking at each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is important. You need to capture the personalities of the people that are there, because you do need those funny moments, or uses of humor and crazy moments, or to capture real, actual responses. Like if you and I are just kind of doing our thing all the time, but we have these moments where we get scared, that needs to be captured. Because you could take it seriously, because you have a baseline of character for so long that you see, oh shit, Spence is actually scared, which means I'm going to be scared too, because you're supposed to be the brave one. So I think that is good, but also keeping a scope of, you can have a person in frame and the background. You can have the tooling, the person and the background in the frame. I think using the camera to your advantage tells a better story.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of negative ones. You want to hear some?
Yeah.
So, putting words over the spirit box, creating audio pareidolia. Fucking hate that. Using too much B-roll footage. You'll see a lot of these shows, they'll go do like 2 minutes of the people, and then they just cut into B-roll footage.
Yeah.
Like, why? Audio and music effects to create eerie feeling. The music box sound, or the wah in the background. Hate that. Like, your video should be able to stand on its own without being propped up.
Yeah.
Non-linear story structure, just bouncing back and forth and doing whatever. Over narration. I personally think the narration should be you. And so while you're doing the history, like on an audio recording, play that over the B-roll footage and the establishing shots, because I think going into a place and going through with the camera and establishing, like you were saying, with windows and doors, the entire structure of where you're going to be, plus the drone footage, which is cool cinematography, and just play the narration over the top of that. So instead of doing long B-roll footage and then going into the history, like, get them both done together. Yeah. You have something visually to focus on while you're listening to what's important.
Right.
But yeah, I hate it when it's like Zach Bagans just cuts in with narration for no fucking reason. Like, you're telling me what just happened when I just saw what happened is so dumb.
Yeah.
Personal bios. Like, they start every episode with saying, like Zach Bagans, I didn't believe in ghosts till I came face to face with one. So many of these paranormal investigators, they start with a personal bio. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Taunting spirits. It's kind of childish.
Yeah.
Acting like everything is evil, a la Zach Bagans. But a lot of them do it.
Yeah.
Lazy use of gear or using too basic of equipment. So getting their K2 meter and just putting it on a desk, or I get when why they do it, but if you just lay it around somewhere and you're not actually recording what it's doing, then you might as well not use it. You know what I mean? Put a camera on it at least. Zero science. Dramatic recreations.
I love dramatic recreation.
I love it in other people's shows. It's not going in ours. Or something that's completely unrelated, like they're talking about, oh, I was down here in the basement and this door just slammed shut, and then it cuts to like a staircase and there's a girl in a white gown with a demon face. Just like, that's not even part of the it's not even pertaining to what they just said. Drives me nuts. Flashes. Just putting flashes in. Too many reaction shots. Shock factor reliance. Just relying on, and then the door's shut, and then the reaction shot happens, and there's a flash and all this eerie music. Like, am I watching a fucking Conjuring movie, or is this an investigation?
Yeah.
Those are my big tropes that I took away. I have pages and pages on a bunch of shows where I literally wrote down pros and cons, and there's several pages where it's just cons. Not that I'm being an asshole, I'm just being objective.
Yeah. No, I mean, it feels like a lot of those shows do certain things just for the trigger factor of, like, getting an emotional response from somebody that's viewing it, whether it's a good response or bad response. Either way, it's like you're making them feel something so that they feel like they've done something in watching the show. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll turn on a show and it's like paranormal stories, and it's like, okay, this person is going to tell the story, and then they go in with this bad actors, like, recreating the whole shit. We did it in our thing with the first Phenomenon visit, but it was a spoof on, like, these stupid shows that we fucking hate watching. So, I mean, if you watch the video, you're going to see us doing some dramatic recreations of what happened, but it's almost spoofing all these other shows that we dislike.
A hundo P, man. And I think that was, like, the funnest part about making that video, was putting those recreations back together. Yeah. Because because I watch it and then I laugh, because it's not meant to be taken seriously. Right. It's not meant to be like, this is exactly what happened verbatim, based on a true story. It's just like, this was
loosely.
Very loosely, as in some of the people's names are the same. Other than that, totally different. But yeah, just making that was just like, this is funny.
Yeah.
In a very sincere way.
Yeah.
But, you know, cutting to, you know, somebody getting butt fucked by a demon, and it's a dramatic recreation. You're like, who came up with this idea?
I love this story, but I don't want to watch it.
It's so bad. See, I think creating that protocol, following, you know, the scientific protocol of testing, you know, I think it's 7 steps. I gotta look it up. I haven't been to high school in a long time. But anytime something happens, follow those steps.
Yeah.
Following the protocol, creating a plan to where we're very linear in what we're gonna do. I think all of that is gonna make it a very interesting and fact-based investigation, but it will also make an entertaining video that people can watch.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to create this content and somebody look at us in the same way that they look at Zach Baggins or you know, Cody or whomever.
Yeah.
Because I look at those guys and I go, they're probably great people, honestly, but their content is a joke to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I want it to be like, you're entertained, you're enthralled, but you're also like understanding of expectations, and you're understanding we're not here to fake it. We're totally legit. What you see is what you get.
Yeah. Well, that was the biggest draw with TAPS, the TAPS team, ghost hunting or ghost hunters, for me, was that there was no overacting. There wasn't any dramatic reenacting. Most of the time when stuff did happen, they didn't really, I mean, they would like kind of big eyes and be like, did you see that? Not a huge reaction. It seemed way more way more real, way more how I feel I would react in the same situation. I'd probably, like we've talked about before, I'd probably just start laughing and be like, that was fucking crazy, did you see that?
Yeah.
You know? And then in their recaps, when they would meet with the client or whoever brought them in to investigate, they wouldn't ever say this is what's happening, but they would be like, we think that this is what happened, and these are the things that we caught on camera. We do think that there is some kind of paranormal activity here, but we're not going to define it in any way. Like, very rarely did they say that this is this person and they're haunting it for this reason and blah blah blah. It was just like, yeah, we did find some activity that go along with your claims, and we do think that it's probably a paranormal thing that's happening here. Not like it's definitely Wyatt Earp that's fucking walking around slamming his ghost cowboy boots on the ground trying to scare people.
You better hope it's not the ghost of Wyatt Earp, because hell's coming with him.
Hell's coming with him.
You gonna do something about it, or just stand there and bleed?
Oh, I fucking love that.
Oh, fucking grade A, top tier man card movie right there.
Came downstairs a couple months ago, and Izzy was watching that on TV, and I was like,
I'm so proud.
yes. Yes.
It's all coming
It's
together.
my favorite part. Gonna do something, boy. Just stand there and bleed.
Damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes. Dude, he was such a gangster in that movie. And he kind of gets overshadowed by Val Kilmer, and rightfully so, because he was so cool. But it's, at the end of the day, like, that's still Wyatt Earp's movie.
Well, even in the movie, you're looking at Wyatt Earp, looking at Doc Holliday, thinking that he's so cool, like.
Yeah.
Which, good job, bravo, boys.
Yeah, top tier movie.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Sad day. Maybe we'll find the ghost of Val Kilmer.
Possibly.
I mean, I think the big question is, if you did, would you ask him about Doc Holliday or Batman?
Probably Doc Holliday. See if Doc Holliday's around. You know.
Wouldn't that be cool? Val Kilmer's talking to you in like a ghost voice.
Hey, Doc Holliday's here.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, he might be able to actually talk to Doc Holliday too. So, I mean.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't really talk to the ghost of Batman.
You're just talking to Val Kilmer, like, hey Val, how's it going over there on the other side? He's great. Hold on, Doc's here. Hey Doc, come here.
These guys want to talk to you.
And then you hear Doc Holliday talk, and it's not nearly as cool. He's like, what's up, guys?
Hey, fellas. Ah, geez.
Shit.
I'm your Huckleberry. Sounds like Cleveland from the Cleveland Show.
Oh, it would just break my heart.
Yeah.
But we'd have proof.
We would have proof.
So yeah, man, I think we solved it. Use science, use proper editing, use the protocol, have a game plan, set good intentions.
Man. Just be real.
Dude, I actually have 4 rules. I wrote down 4 rules before we wrap it up. Let me find it here. 4 rules. 1 is be authentically yourself. We're not playing characters.
No.
We're just us.
Yeah.
2 is do not fabricate, embellish, or otherwise lie. We don't want to do that.
No.
3, set good intentions. 4 is have fun. Because yes, a lot of investigations are kind of boring. Doesn't mean you're not having fun.
Yeah.
And then when things start happening, you're having a barrel of fun. You don't even realize it.
So with that being said, you know, talking to people that might be watching this, if you're interested in these things, which, I mean, if you sat through this whole conversation we just had, you probably are interested in these things. Part of our whole thing moving forward, we talked about kind of bringing other people with us when we go to get different reactions and different energies into these spaces. But yeah, hit us up and maybe you could join us.
Maybe you could join us, or if you have a place that may not be a popular haunted hotspot that you know of that you'd like to see and get investigated, hit those DMs, baby.
Yeah, if you want an honest reaction and honest video filled with no paranormal activity, possibly, that's what we're going to get.
Or
we get what we get.
Or if, you know, you think your house is haunted, give us a call. We'll come take a look.
Yeah. Who are you going to call?
A.C.E.S.
Call A.C.E.S.
That's trademark, by the way. Can't take it. That I do love that name, by the way. It's very cool. It's very creative, very smart. And it also, huge plus, is it does not have the word paranormal in it.
Yeah.
Because it's, when you start looking around on the forums and on social media for different groups, just about every one of them has paranormal in it.
Yeah. We're already standing out.
Already, dude.
Yeah.
We haven't even filmed any new videos yet. Changing the world.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Anyway, Doctor. I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah.
I've been ruminating over it for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to get out and do some shit.
Yeah. We need to get some pads. I think we should probably even get like I'm gonna get like a pad of like, what is it called when it has little squares on it instead of
Grids?
graph paper,
yeah.
just so that we can do like the layout of, you know, make a little map on each location. This is floor 1, this is this room, that room. And as we do that initial sweep, kind of write down on the map what we're picking up on.
Yeah.
Just so we have a visual reference of what it was and what it should be when we go to do the investigation part. Like, so we have that visual map of this is the living room in the downstairs basement. Our reading says that it was 0.07 milligauss or whatever it is.
Yeah, because I want to, every time we do a sweep with a tool, I want to mount a GoPro in front of that tool. And so the timestamp will match the timestamp of the camera that's like in the corner watching you do it. So you can do a little P&P. And so as like you're doing your sweeping pattern, you'll see what it's reading in the corner, or like a side-by-side video, you can see you doing it and you can see what it's reading. So everything is recorded and it's foolproof.
Very cool.
Very bulletproof. Looking forward to it. We're going to do it soon. Probably not till after October. We're mid-September now, so it's only getting started.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait.
Me neither.
All right, let's pull it there. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.